Hi everyone! Today I wanted to talk about rotations. So in geometry, to rotate something means to turn it. And when we rotate, we need to know three pieces of information. First, the degrees, second, the direction, and third, the center of rotation. So the degrees tells us how much we want to turn a figure. Notice that we have 90-degree increments. So if we want to turn it 90 degrees, we turn the paper once, 180 degrees, turn the paper twice, 270 degrees, turn the paper 3 times, and 360 degrees, we turn our paper 4 times. Secondly is the direction. Which way do you want to turn your figure? If you want to turn it right, we call that clockwise. And you want to turn it left, we call that counterclockwise. If you forget, you can always look at a clock and see which direction does it normally go in. Third is the center of rotation. This is the point the figure is going to be rotated around. So we're going to be doing our rotations on a coordinate plane, and we want to know where about on the coordinate plane will we rotate this figure. If it's not explicitly stated in the problem, you can assume that the center of rotation is 0, 0. In order to do rotations, you might find it helpful to have one of these resources. We basically need a way to trace our figures, so you want to look for some see-through paper. And you can find some probably in your kitchen through wax paper, parchment paper, or tissue paper. If you have none of those, you can just use regular white paper and hold it up either to a window or a glass door. Example, it wants us to rotate this triangle 90 degrees clockwise around 0, 0. So remember that 90 degrees is that we're going to turn our paper one time, and clockwise means that we're going to turn our paper to the right. Here's our center of rotation, 0, 0. So the first step is to put your tracing paper on top of this coordinate plane and trace out the vertices of the triangle, connect them to form the shape of the triangle, and even put in the letter of the vertices. The second step is that we need to put a cross at our center of rotation. So here's our center of rotation, 0, 0. And I'm going to draw a cross right here. So if I lift off my paper, you can see better what I've traced. Okay? Let's put it back down and line up our center of rotation and put our pencil on it. And it tells us to turn this to the right one time. So I'm going to keep going until my crosshairs match up with the axes again. So now this is where my triangle is going to be. Notice before it was in the top right hand corner, and now it's on the bottom right. So I'm going to lift up my paper and remember where the points are, and go ahead and place my new points down. I'm going to also label them with their letters. So A prime, B prime, and C prime to show that it's our new points. Let's go ahead and connect them to form our triangle. And awesome, we are done with rotating our figure. But let's go ahead and write the coordinates down and see if we can spot any patterns. So A prime now is at the point 5, negative 2. B prime is at 1, negative 2. And C prime is at 1, negative 4. Well, let's observe something. What happens to the original x coordinates and y coordinates to produce the new ones? 2, 5 turns into 5, negative 2. 2, 1 turns into 1, negative 2. 4, 1 turns into 1, negative 4. So we see two things happening here. First, did you guys notice that the x and y coordinates seem to be flipping places? Alright, so how we show that in symbols is that we are going to change y and x so it becomes like this. Okay? And what else do we notice? It seems like these were all positive, 2, 2, and 4. But when they were rotated, it seems like these coordinates now became negative, or the opposite sign. So we show that with a negative symbol here. So in words, we could say that x and y switch places. And then the new y coordinate switch signs. Okay, because here is our new y coordinate. And as a reminder, Rotating 90 degrees clockwise is the same thing as rotating 270 degrees counterclockwise. Alright, next we want to rotate the triangle 180 degrees clockwise around 0, 0. So 180 degrees means that you're going to move your paper 2 times. Clockwise is yet again to the right. And our center of rotation is 0, 0. Okay, so we're going to put our pencil center of rotation. We're going to turn it 1 time to the right, and then 2 times to the right. We're going to lift up our paper, and we're going to trace the points. We're going to label the coordinates. You can connect them to form the triangle, and record the coordinates to see the pattern. So A prime now is at -2, -5. B prime is at -2, -1. C prime is at -4, -1. So let's take a look at the original coordinates to the new ones. 2, 5 became -2, -5. 2, 1 became -2, -1. 4, 1 is -4, -1. So what happened? Did the x and y coordinates switch places? No, not this time. But what did happen is that the x coordinate became negative and the y coordinate became negative, aka they switched their signs. So we write x and y here because they didn't switch places, but we do put a negative sign in front of each. So if we were to write it in words, we can say that the x and y coordinates switched their signs. And remember that rotating 180 degrees clockwise is the same thing as rotating it 180 degrees counterclockwise. Let's look at this next example. So it wants us to rotate it 270 degrees, which means we're going to turn our paper 3 times. Clockwise is to the right, and we're still rotating around our point 0, 0. So we're going to go ahead and put our tracing paper on top, line it up with 0, 0. This time we're going to turn it around 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. We're going to lift up our paper. We're going to trace the points, and we're going to label it with our letters A prime, B prime, C prime. Connect the points to form our triangles. Now record the coordinates to see the pattern. A prime is now at -5, 2. B prime is at -1, 2. C prime is at -1, 4. Alright, let's take a look at the patterns here. 2, 5 became -5, 2. 2, 1 became -1, 2. 4, 1, -1, 4. So it does look like the x and y coordinates switch places. So we're going to write y and x. And this time, all the negatives are over here. So the new x coordinate changes its sign. So we can write that in words. So x and y, they switch places. And the new x coordinate changes signs. And remember that rotating 270 degrees clockwise is the same as turning it 90 degrees counterclockwise. For our next example, we're going to rotate this triangle 360 degrees clockwise. So 360 degrees means that we're going to move our paper 4 times. Clockwise is that we're going to turn it right. And again, our center of rotation is 0, 0. So let's go ahead and put our paper right here and turn the figure 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times. As you notice, our picture is going to overlap our original one. So A prime, B prime, and C prime are on A, B, and C respectively. So the coordinates for A are 2, 5, B is 2, 1, and C is 4, 1. As you notice, since nothing changed, the coordinates are the same. Therefore, in symbols, we have X and Y. So the coordinates are the exact same. As a reminder, rotating 360 degrees clockwise is the same as rotating 360 degrees counterclockwise. So if we put all the patterns we found together, it would look something like this. There is a link in the YouTube video description in order for you to get to this exact same page. So let's say that we didn't have pad paper and we wanted to do it algebraically. We want to turn and rotate this figure 90 degrees clockwise around 0, 0. So we look for that rule somewhere here, and we have it right here, rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and our rule is y, comma, negative x. So we can go ahead and write that in there. So what that means is that the x and y switch places. And you can see that there's a negative x right here. So the second coordinate, we're going to take its opposite sign. Okay, so we're going to change the sign of the second coordinate. So let's go ahead and do that here. We're going to switch -6 and 8. We're going to switch -1 and 8. We're going to switch -4 and 2. So I've so far switched the xy coordinates. Now, for the second coordinate, we have to take the opposite sign. So since this was negative to begin with, it's going to become a positive 6. Negative 1 becomes a positive 1. Negative 4 becomes a positive 4. So now I can go ahead and find those points and graph them, and I will see my new triangle. So C prime is at the point 8, 6. D prime is at 8, 1. E prime is at 2, 4. So this is a great method if you have no way of getting tracing paper. You can do it algebraically. Alright, that wraps up rotations for today. Thanks for watching.